Hey, a little bit of fun today. We had bluebirds checking out the bluebird box here for the first time in probably 2.5, 3 years. So I got an old feeder here. We're gonna make a project out of it this afternoon. It's not as bad a shape as I thought maybe it was, but you can see the ants hit it pretty hard. Clean those up. Maybe put a new bottom on for our little cat food trays there. Mounted anew, put it up over there. It's a nice little feeder. It just closes the area down here so the big birds can't get in there, and so you really end up, some chickadees get in there, but wrens and bluebirds use it. And you just put dried mealworms in those cans and they go nuts over it. See if we can make it look a little nicer. You know, this thing's really held up pretty well for 10 years. It's just plain old wood, and trying to keep it clean and refinish it with urethane every year. The bluebirds quit coming, and I just kind of let it, I changed some feeders around and I just let it sit for a while, and it rotted away. It had one in 2019 when it was so wet, it really just kind of fell apart and I gave up on it. But this is a pretty easy fix, and it's a great little feeder. I just saved the hardware, put it in some liquid wrench to soak, and put it all back together. That top, look how bad that top and bottom were. I gave it a little more of an overhang, made a bigger piece for the top this time, made it 16 inches instead of 14. That much bigger. I also, on the top, I always put a couple of supports across the top, and I glue those on and nail those in to kind of help it keep from warping. But it's also a nice place to put some worms up on top so they don't blow away. And when birds are looking, they seem to find them on the top. The good old whip it works to clean stuff up. And the little black line on here that helps the birds from just running into the thing. And you know what? The electrical tape I took off of there was the original stuff I put on there 10 years ago. So that stuff it really lasts. Just fold one over the top and then wrap one around the sides, cut it off, and it's there to stay. Good stuff. The old brass brush, clean out these cat food cans. I just bought some cheap old cat food, emptied them out. And those cans have lasted and lasted. A good old 120 grit sandpaper sanded the whole thing, sanded everything. Really important, cut that rain drip edge on the inside, underside, about an eighth inch deep, ½ inch around all sides to keep that moisture from tracking in and dripping in the center of your feeder. Take the old wire wheel to the pipe, and this is a nice trick. That there is a rebarb electric fence post, and if you're going to paint anything, spray paint anything, wipe it down with rubbing alcohol, keep it clean. And then that fence post is great because you can leave it kind of sticking up out of the ground and put that post on it. Use good primer, use good paint, and use some penetrating stain for the wood, and a little bar urethane, a couple of coats of each. Everything's sealed up and sits pretty good. It has to sit for about 24 hours before you put it together. Got to have silicone under those cans. And I didn't previously have something in the center to screw them down tight. So as that silicone kind of wore out, bugs found their way in underneath those cans to get little bits of food or old worms, so that helped rat it out. Hey, you're putting the body on the top. Just make sure you're centered on there. Measure all the way around. Little nail punch and a hammer, and these screws are small. So easy assembly. It's pretty crazy how easily this thing comes together and how long it lasts. So the link to all the plans for this thing are in the description below. So make sure you check it out. It's been around a long time, but this is an oldie but a goodie. Same thing, measure in, make sure on the top I got some 1.5 inch just drywall screws that I had laying around. Sure, yeah, it's outdoor. It'd be good to have brass or stainless steel, but you know what? These last just fine. You don't have to go overboard. And that plexiglass door is really pretty ingenious. You can pull that out and hose it, spray it down, clean it really easily through the summer and through the winter. So that's a good deal. Same deal with the eye hooks, man. Just a nail punch and pop them in. Find the center on the bottom. Draw some good long lines. That flange, that 1/2-inch galvanized flange, is about 3 inches. So you're going 1.5 inches out from the center on each side, maybe 1 3/4 inches. I can't remember what the measurement is, but just measure out so you know where you're at. Mark your holes. And then I like what I did, because the flange, I could not get that flange off that pipe after so many years. I just went ahead and assembled it as it was. I put some wire nails in where the holes are to line it up. And so when I erected the pole, I could put it on there. I use that rebar fence post as a base underneath that pipe, so it makes it a little more sturdy, and you don't have to drive that pipe quite so far into the dirt. Leaves the feeder up a little higher for the birds, and it's more of a solid outfit that way. And my little wire nail trick worked out really well. Just set the feeder up there with the nails. Pull a wire nail out. Put a screw in. Those were number 8 3/4 inch stainless wood screws. Pile in the worms, throw a few on top, throw around the side, and slide them in there, and you are all good to go. We're set. Looking good. You can kind of see the layout here, the way that feeder's right on the edge of the line here. In the fence line. The birds used to come and stage in this pecan tree here, so hopefully we can draw them back in here. I can clear the flowers and trim some brush around this around the bluebird house, and get some better predator guards there, and get back in the bluebird making business. Who knows? It could happen.